Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite shows, DuckTales. For those of you who don't know, DuckTales is an animated adventure about a rich family that goes on fantastical adventures. I'm not talking about the original from the 80s, I'm talking about the remake. Instead of talking about the series as a whole, because there's a lot there and I could probably make a series of videos about DuckTales, but I'm going to be focusing on one episode in particular, Only Child Day. Because I think this is a great example of all three of the triplets' personalities, goals, and how they all work together. So the triplets are Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And Only Child Day starts with Dewey acting a little suspicious in the house. And their friend Webby shows up. She's asking him where the other two are. And he goes, "Who?" And I think this says a lot about their life, that Webby's first instinct is that they're in a different dimension. And there's an evil doppelganger. Once the other two show up and they say he's doing a Dewey thing, she immediately understands and relaxes. But I really like that that's her first go-to answer of what's happening. We hear Only Child Day. Oh, it's where we pretend we're only children. Dewey wants to do it because he wants to be the center of attention. Huey does not want to do it because Huey likes same things and he doesn't like being alone. And then Louie is the one that they turn to when they're arguing about this, because Louie is actually the show's moral compass. He's the one who they'll turn to know if something's bad, or he'll encourage somebody when everybody else doesn't know what to say. So if Louie's in for it, then that probably means that it's okay. Louie immediately knows what he wants. He wants to go spend time with the richest kid in Duckburg and do obscenely rich kid things. And Louie loves money, so he's very, very excited about this possibility. So we go into 3 different storylines, which is pretty fun. Most of the time in DuckTales, they don't have 3 storylines. There's usually an A plot and a B plot. So having 3 is a little bit different, but it still works really well because they're triplets. What? So Huey goes off to the woodchuck cookout and he sees my favorite person ever, Launchpad.
I didn't get to be a troop leader by bending the rules. I got it by crashing the bus during a camping trip and the other leaders quitting.
He's the best. Huey's first problem is that he doesn't have enough people to do the cookout. Then the Beagle Boys, one of the reoccurring villains of the series. 2 of them join Huey in his cookout. At first he's really excited because he just gets to participate. That's all he wanted. He wanted to participate to get the badge. That's all he wants. So he's fine with this. But then, as it goes on, it turns out that they listen to him, they participate, and he's really excited about that because his brothers do not listen to him at all. In exchange, the Beagle Boys feel more love from Huey than they do from anybody else in their family. But this goes behind them, because the new Beagle Boys feel protective of Huey. They tie up their brother at the top of a tree. Huey freaks out, because he's like, "That's not what you do, guys!" He starts to try to rescue Big Time. But the other 2 are just following his orders blindly, and they're putting everybody more and more and more in danger. Cut to Louie. My homeboy Louie walks up to Doofus Drake's house. He is first floored and in love with the amount of power and money and cool stuff that Doofus has. The first cue to Louie is this.
Brain freeze.
And the second cue is the friend present.
Friend present.
Louie starts to realize that, yeah, this is a lot of fun and this is really cool. And that, yeah, Doofus has a ridiculous amount of power, 0 restraint, responsibility, or understanding of how anything he does impacts anybody else. Louie learns that his parents are his servants because he's ridiculously rich from his grandmother. Then Doofus tries to kidnap him because he's a friend present, so he can't leave. He's mine now. I own him. It's not great. But Louie tries to do the Louie thing of, if you can talk your way out of it. Trademark Louie Duck. But it doesn't quite work. So Louie's stuck with this crazy rich kid. Boom, 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 boom. Dewey, who wanted the Only Child Day the most, he gets to host a talk show because he wants to be the center of attention, and only children get more attention. And so he does a talk show, which is arguably also a very center of attention thing. It starts off, okay, he's having fun, but then he realizes that part of a talk show is that you need to have other people to talk to, and he doesn't have that. So who does he immediately emulate? His brothers. Eventually, Dewey's hating on robots because Huey's the robot. So this robot comes in. It seems like he's gonna hurt Huey. After a chase scene, ha 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 ha, it's Webby. We learned that Webby also was a little upset by this whole day because she just barely got them as friends. And now they're pretending to not know each other and not be friends. That's really hard for her to deal with. But then the robot for real decides to attack them. Shenanigans! The tree that Huey was on falls into the manor of Doofus Drake. And somehow Webby and Dewey show up there on the robot as well. They all look at each other and just say like one word answer for what's going on, and they immediately know what to do. Huey immediately goes for the robot because he's analytical. He's the robot. He knows how to fix it. And Dewey goes and distracts Doofus, which eventually then helps buys Huey enough time to get the robot over there to be like, back off, guys. Louie begins going over to the Beagle Boys and talking to them to try to make them reconnect in a way that will not harm anybody here. And they all go and leave and are happy. What are some of my favorite things about DuckTales?
Comedy, action, and heart? Who wouldn't want to watch this show?
Thank you for listening. Please watch DuckTales. Or I hope that you enjoyed this mini episode of Condensed DuckTales.